Interview with Wendy Overstreet, Director of Bands at Needwood Middle School, Monday, October 29, 2012 at 4 p.m. How would you describe your job? How long have you been in this field?
All right, so my job is a band director at Needwood Middle School, and I've been doing this for 18 years now.
What are your experiences, if any, with the overhead projector?
When I first started back in 1995, we did have overhead projectors in our school, and at first I couldn't get one because there was only a certain limited amount, and since I was a new teacher, I couldn't get one. And then about 2 years into it, the school got some more money, so we bought some overhead projectors, and I was able to get one. I would use it for my notes for my students to learn how to read music, how to write rhythms, and different things like that. And then when they started to introduce the smart boards, they kind of went extinct and they flew out to the other side.
How were you introduced to the ELMO document camera?
All right, the ELMO, I actually learned about ELMO when other teachers were talking about the ELMO. They were talking about how they were showing things for their kids, and I just kind of was nosy and asked what they were talking about, and they were just talking about this ELMO document machine, and I was interested, and so I just sort of did a little bit of research on it just to figure out what it was. And then last year, we had some Title I money, and Ms. Scarborough had asked the school staff, any of us who wanted to have an ELMO for a room, and I immediately said yes, I would love to have one, because for me, what I do with my kids is when we're reading music, I have a score that has their parts on it, and I can sit there and I can talk to the kids about their parts, but when I can actually physically show them on my score and have them relate it to what they're looking at, it makes a difference so they can understand the meaning I'm trying to explain to them when it comes to their music. Because if I just stand there and go, look at your measure and look at this and this and this, all of them won't be there with me, and so it just kind of wastes the time. But when we can have a way that they can look at the part that I'm specifically talking about and compare it to theirs, we can get things done a lot quicker.
What assistance or training did the technology team or media specialist offer you to assist you in utilizing the ELMO appropriately in the classroom?
When I was trying to figure out the ELMO, nobody else kind of really helped me, though. I played around and tried to figure out the best uses for my room. And for me, with music, it is the scores and the music that the kids look at. I really rarely use it for anything else but just that part of our lessons.
What have been the results on student academic achievement of the students using the ELMO in the classroom? Do you believe the ELMO has increased student academic performance?
I do believe the ELMO does increase their performance because of the fact they can actually read and see what I'm talking about when it comes to the score. A lot of our kids are visual learners, and so when they can look and actually compare the part of mine to theirs, it makes a difference in how they're learning their music.
What level of freedom, if any, do you feel in implementing new ideas and or technologies at this school site?
Freedom and ideas. I think it's a lot. We have a lot of freedom because Dr. Poulos, he highly encourages us to introduce new technology into our classrooms because the society today, for our students, it's all about technology. They're into the video games, and for them, the more technology we can introduce, the more likely we are to keep them engaged in our lessons. So, we have smart music for music, and Mr. Poulos, he's like, we'll pay for the subscriptions, and he wants the kids in there. That way, it's a hands-on learning outside of what I can do in my classroom.
What would you do to increase the use of the ELMO school-wide?
The ELMO use school-wide, I think the first problem is to get teachers accustomed to it and comfortable with it. The biggest part about technology with teachers is their familiarity or just their being comfortable with what they're doing. I think teachers, a lot of times, they utilize the PowerPoint because that's what they see all the time, and that's the most easiest thing to do. But when it comes to expanding upon anything new, they're very apprehensive about it because they're scared to try it or they just don't know what to do with it. And then if nobody's actually helping to show them how to use it in their classroom, it's not going to become a big thing in our school. I do know that more teachers are using it this year because we were able to buy about 20 or so of them with the Title I money. So it is getting used more, and hopefully when other teachers see that it's being used, they'll get interested and want to find out how they can use it in their classroom.
Do you think the ELMO will still be widely in use 5 years from now? Why or why not? If not, What do you predict might replace it?
The ELMO in 5 years, I think a version of it will still be here. I don't think the actual ELMO we see now, but I think a different, more current version will be used. Exactly the specifics, I'm not sure, but um, I think we'll always need a way to show kids what we're seeing where they can see it. That way they can compare what we're trying to get to them so they can see it and they go, aha. They have that moment for them to of understanding.
In a perfect world, what new technology would you like to see implemented at this school site? Why?
New technology in our school. I would love to see iPads for all of our students. One, musically, there's a lot of music applications. I've been using my app, my personal iPad in my class. So I got a metronome and tuner on it. I've been recording my students, and then I can play it back for them immediately, and they can hear what they're actually sounding like, and they can hear the mistakes and the good places in the music. There's all different kinds of educational apps, and it goes with the technology that we're trying to get our kids into. The problem is though is money, and then teachers being comfortable with it, because if the teacher's not even comfortable with the basic computer we have now, how familiar will they be with an iPad and how much will they utilize it in their room? And until we have training or support for teachers to utilize this technology in the room, it would be kind of a waste of the money, unless you let those of us who are interested in pushing technology kind of get our hands on it and create lessons for teachers to have a chance to do some learning with it.